Every Tuesday from noon to 1 on the SEMO ESPN network at SEMOESPN.com and the SEMO ESPN app. You can also see a live video stream at SEMOESPN.com. Eric Shaw and Coach Tuke talk Red Hawks football, break down the games, and talk with the players. Stop in for lunch at Wings Etc. in Cape or Jackson and hear the Coaches Show all year long on the SEMO ESPN network.
There are sports bars everywhere these days, but there's only one place for award-winning jumbo wings, bigger beers, and better food and drink values all week long. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. We're so much more than wings. Enjoy wraps, salads, subs, seafoods, quesadillas, amazing appetizers, and awesome daily lunch food and drink specials. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms tapering to an end here early this morning, then clouds will clear as we head towards this afternoon, even with plenty of sunshine. Much cooler today, temperatures reaching a high in the upper 70s. Clear skies overnight, low near 50. Lots of sunshine and unseasonably cool Wednesday and Thursday, highs both afternoons, middle part of the 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast. Breaking on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Golick for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the sports authority.
And now, at last,
it's time for the Red Hawks Coaches Show on the SEMO ESPN Radio Sports Network.
I have more to tell you.
The Southeast Coaches Show airs every Tuesday at noon on ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM. Live from Wings Etc. in Cape and Jackson. This is your chance to delve deep into the Red Hawks football season with head coach Tom Matukowicz.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
let's go live to Wings Etc. Right here on SEMO ESPN.
It is another edition of the Red Hawks Coaches Show. We are live at Wings Etc. We're in the Cape Girardeau location. Coach Tom Matukowicz is here. And, well, we've got a pretty nice crowd. Bobby Bruni just entered the building. He and Greg Bruni got their own table all to themselves. Good turnout, but we still have some empty seats. So if you'd like to join us for lunch, you are invited to join us. Stop by Wings Etc. You can try their award-winning jumbo wings. If you'd like to eat in, we invite you to eat with us. If not, you can get them to go. They will carry everything out for you. They have a full menu featuring much more than just their wings. They've got their freshly made burgers, wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, their smoked ribs, and much more. And if you check out their appetizer lineup, it includes their ultimate nachos and their deep-fried pickle spears. So it's Wings Etc. As programming note, next Tuesday, Coach Tuke and I will be over at the Jackson location. So we'll be over in Jackson, the Wings Etc. there. Coach Tom Matukowicz is here, and we are ready to get a short week going for most of us that kind of punch the time clock. Does it do anything different to you that we had a Labor Day holiday, or is everything still the same with the football team?
No, everything's the same. Certainly, getting back late and those type of things are a concern. And as a football program, we got to make sure that we handle that well. Get back at 6 in the morning, and that's not normal, and then you go back on the road. And so that's one big key to victory is just how we handle back-to-back long bus rides.
And it was a long bus ride. Now, what you did on the way there, and you have done consistently in your 4 seasons, if it's a long trip, seemingly over 4 hours or so, it seems like you want to stop and work out. I know we've done it in Louisville, done it at the University of Missouri, but you stopped at Mizzou, worked out, everybody stretched their legs, and it seemed to make the trip go a little quicker, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Stayed in Kansas City. So that also took an hour off the trip there at least. And so we try to do a good job of not keeping them on the bus too long. This next trip might be a little different. It's just tough. And so we're going to, not get off the bus till we hit Louisville. And so that'll be a decent.
You going to work out there again?
Yeah, going to work out there. We changed it up to where we're going to work at Chad Meredith High School. He's done so much for this program and stuff like that. And so we're actually going to work out there. That's kind of, for him to do what he's done as a Red Hawk and to have his football team come to his high school to get a practice in, I think is pretty cool.
Is he going to be able to work out, or will he just be signing autographs the whole time we're there?
Yeah, I don't know. He'll probably have to hide. I don't know. One thing before we get started, man, I'd just like to, it's good to see all the all-in Red Hawks, and we had just a great following at the KU game. I don't know if you saw the sideline, but I know Moose Knuckles were there getting it on, and Joe Hobbs and, the faithful Goshi. I hate to go names because I'll leave some out, but Mark Harris with Chap Arnold. There's just a lot of people that came and spent the weekend with us, and I know our kids really appreciate all your support. And one of these days when they get tired of me, I'm going to go tailgate with the Moose Knuckles. I mean, I haven't.
That's a place to be right there.
I haven't done a lot of tailgating, but I'm telling you, I think they're pretty good. I think they're pretty good, and I need to be a part of it to get to make sure I understand how it goes down. But from their social media, I'm a fan.
Well, I'll tell you this: that horn of theirs,
is fantastic. Yeah, exactly.
But the Moose Mobile,
it's all about details. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and they do a good job with like the horn and all the little things that get your tailgate over the top.
Now, I don't know. I haven't talked to them lately, but I know at the end of baseball season, because they were there for a lot of the baseball games at Capitol Hall, they had transmission. The transmission went out on the Knuckle Mobile, so I don't know if it's fixed, but we got to make sure that thing's fixed by the home opener.
Yeah, it's just like
he said it's fixed.
Good.
All right, we got it fixed. And I mean, when you do the Red Hawk walk, they get that horn going, don't they?
Yeah, they do. The Red Hawk Walk's going to be on new pavement thanks to the city of Cape Girardeau, and it's newly blacktopped. I don't know if you've drove it lately, but they get that thing slicked up for the first Red Hawk Walk.
All right, that'll be a week from Saturday. This Saturday, the Red Hawks will be at the University of Dayton. I know coaches rarely look at this, but Vegas has you favored in the game. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But let's recap what happened at the University of Kansas over the weekend. It was a 38-16 victory for KU. And, boy, they got it going early, Coach. They got a 77-yard touchdown reception from Steven Sims Jr. on just their third play of the game. It looked like it was kind of a crossing route, maybe 8 or 9 yards downfield. And this guy, who came in, I believe, 13th on their all-time receptions list, I mean, he's a star player in the Big 12, found a seam and was able to break it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, they had some really, really good skill. Certainly our corner misplayed it, and then because he misplayed it, he actually knocked off the high safety, and that's why it went the distance on us. And I know we're working to get that fixed. But he had the gear to get it over with, and that was a 3rd and 8. I mean, we come out, we tackled well, we stopped the run. You got him in the perfect situation, 3rd and 8. And, that's why you play the game, and that's why you got to continue to get better. And anytime you got DB out there for the first time in their career, like that's a part of it. That's the risk you take.
And then after they add the extra point, they're able to force you into a punt. It's a short punt, which gives them a short field. 34-yard line is where they started their drive. 7 plays. I thought you did pretty good to make them run 7 plays from the 34-yard line in.
Got them to a 3rd down, and then they made miraculous catch there.
I thought it was going to be on ESPN. I didn't see it. Maybe it was on ESPN, but I said at the time that catch is going to be on ESPN. One-handed leaping grab. The guy 6'4". I mean, just a highlight reel catch.
Yeah. I think the one thing I'd like to say is, our punt game's got to get better. That was certainly a bad situation. And so we got to get that short up. We can't give up field position like that. But, it's one thing is when I look back on that film, I thought he fumbled it. In instant replay, they review all scoring plays, period. And so they reviewed it. But, I wish I'd have challenged it even if I'd have seen the video or whatever, because from our angle, he came down, but as soon as he hit, it bobbled out of bounds. And so, from what I understand, on a completion, that wouldn't have been. But what a great catch, and certainly, just like what they'd want to start and how we don't want to start. So we got to take that off the film this week.
What did you think? You're going to be dealing with instant replay now in the Ohio Valley Conference. We had several plays that were reviewed in that football game.
Yeah, there was a lot, and I'm glad it did. The one got overturned. They ruled an interception, and then it got turned. And so I'm super glad. You know, we work really hard, and we just all want to get it right, both sides, and I know the officials do too. They don't want to live with a poor decision that instant replay could have took off the film.
You know, the one play, Tyler McLemore made what appeared to be a tremendous catch, was going to give you great field position deep in Kansas territory. They looked at that one for a long time, and when we were watching on the big screen at Memorial Stadium, we just couldn't see the camera angle from your sideline. If we had the camera angle from your sideline, we could have told. But what I thought, because they called it a no catch on the field, there wasn't enough evidence because they didn't come back and say that the call has been confirmed. The call will stand, basically, is what they say. They didn't say confirmed, which leads me to believe they just couldn't see enough on replay.
Right. Now, the one official was right there. I mean, he had the best view of it. And so, you know, I think he was right on it. But you're right, even in our league, you know, our instant replay is only going to be as good as the video that we have. Yeah. So if they don't put enough cameras out there, then
would you agree if it was from your sideline, we could have seen?
We'd have known for sure. Yeah. You know, I think one thing that I bet you see even in my lifetime is every official just has a GoPro that gets wireless. Sent up to the press box and all those things.
I've never heard anybody bring that up. That sounds good.
You know, I would say even in my coaching time that'll happen. And why not? Like, well, you know, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. And the technology, if it supports it and it makes the game better, then great.
What do you understand the rules are going to be for replay in the Ohio Valley Conference? I know scoring plays are going to be reviewed. What else are you going to be able to ask them to review?
Basically anything, I look at it pretty simple, but anything that has to do with the line. You know, is he out of bounds? If it's 3rd and 1, did he cross the line? If obviously on a goal line, those type of plays. You can't review judgment type calls. Right. Like if it's a holding, is it PI, pass interference? Obviously you can't review those type of things. And if you jack it up, they won't let you call the review. You know, if I say, hey, I want to review that, that's not going to cost me a timeout. Because
you're asking to review a non-reviewable play,
and
which would be a penalty.
And they'll just move on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good because I think at the NFL level it is a penalty, right?
If they try. Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch NFL, but, you know, if you can't ask for it, then why would they give it to you?
Right. So they go up 14-0 after one quarter, and then you mount your first scoring drive of the season, Coach. 5 plays, 24 yards, and this is – after you recover a muffed punt. I don't know why they didn't have Sims Jr., their normal punt guy, back there. They had the backup guy in. He coughs it up, and you take advantage. Points off turnovers. You get a 9-yard touchdown pass from Jesse Hoskett, who, by the way, is going to join us. He's got class until 12:30 today, so Jesse Hoskett is going to be here. We'll talk with the Redhawks quarterback. But he hit Trayvon Billington on a 9-yard pass play in the left edge of the end zone, got in by probably 3 feet. He's a good-looking wide receiver.
Yeah, and, you know, that was an impressive play. That was a great route. That was a field out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a long pass, and, I mean, it was contested, and it was a laser, and that was just really good to see. You know, that's Trey's first catch, I believe, and his first touchdown. He's worked really hard, and I think Coach Napoli's done a really good job with him getting strength where he can get in and out of breaks. We probably played him a little too much. He got wore down towards the end of the 4th quarter, but proud of the way he played Saturday.
All right, I do have to ask you this. You brought up Coach Napoli. You said, we're not talking about Coach Knapp till we see the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
You outscored him in the 4th quarter. Does Coach Knapp get a little love today?
Yes, he does. All right. So, we didn't cramp. I don't know if you noticed that. We didn't have any cramps out on the field.
They had some guys cramp.
Yeah, we didn't cramp. We won the 4th quarter. His arms looked a little small on the sidelines, okay? But I tell you, everything else, thumbs up. So we appreciate Coach Knapp, and certainly our players appreciate, his work that he did.
So it's 14-7. Your defense then goes to work, man. I mean, they were outstanding. And then what appeared to be, from our vantage point, the turning point in the football game. You're driving. You're inside the 20-yard line with a pass play. Jesse Hoskett, you roll the entire pocket to the right. to give Jesse a little time. He throws up the right sideline to Christian Wilkerson. He's going to have the football at the 15-yard line. It's looking like, okay, you may go in and tie this football game. It's 14-7, and then suddenly an offensive pass interference call on Wilkerson. It moves it from what would have been position at the 15 all the way to the 45, your 1st and 25, and basically the drive is over. That was a game changer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. I mean, like you said, it was almost a 14-point swing because you felt like you could have got it in. We weren't able to, and then they ended up scoring. And so huge penalty there. And, I think that's the challenge. Even challenge this year or this week is we go from, the OVC officials is how we train our team. Like I get trained by what they are going to call, how they're going to call games, then I train my team. Well, when you go to Big 12 and then all of a sudden it's officiated different, all right, that's why you got blood pressure because you're doing the things that you're taught to do, and they call a flag. And in the OVC that wouldn't be, but to their credit, they did throw a PI on them, an offensive PI on them.
Later in the game.
So I think that's just how they were going to call it, but it certainly – hurt us in that situation.
Okay, you say it's probably not called in the OVC. What did you see? Because, I couldn't really – obviously they wouldn't show it on the replay board, but I've got to watch the ball, so I can't see what he did out of his break before the ball got there. What did you see when you watched film?
Nothing. I do more to Lena trying to get in the fridge getting some milk than what he did. But, I mean – it is what it is. It's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. So we can bitch about it, but that's how they called the game, and so we got to make sure we adjust.
And as far as Christian Wilkerson goes, he is the guy who ends up scoring your last touchdown in the fourth quarter. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But after you don't get the ball at the 15-yard line, they put a drive together right before halftime, Coach. 3 plays, 52 yards. They score a touchdown with 13 seconds to play before halftime. Boy, those are momentum shifters right there.
That's really where I think I got to get better as a head coach. This is something that, this has happened last year. And, going in the game, I really wanted to be aggressive. I called the fake punt, and
what did you think of the spot on that fake punt?
He
ends
close.
up with his knee down at about the 48.5 from what I saw. Yeah. Now, whether it went down before that, but it was a really close play.
Yeah. But my point was, and the point I told the team is they're not going to give us this game. Okay? Nobody is. Officials, players, we have to go win the game. And so I was going to play really aggressive. But right before half, we got the ball with, I think, 1:50 on the clock. We had 2 timeouts. But the ball was on the 17-yard line. It's 14-7 at that point. Obviously, hindsight, I wish we'd have just ran the clock out, got into half at 14-7. Everybody would have felt good, start the second half. But, I felt like Jesse was kind of coming on. I thought our offense could move the ball on a 2-minute drive. And once we got stuffed on that first play on the draw, I wish, as a head coach, I got to be able to get in that situation, shut it down, go to milk the clock mode. Because we can't afford to give a team 7 points at that situation. If you're 2nd and 13 on the 17, we should have just tried to run the clock out so we can get away at half.
But did they have 2 or 1 timeout left? Because they probably would have stopped the clock.
They would have, but then they wouldn't have had it on the other end.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's 2 ways. Sometimes you feel like you're just white flagging it and you're, prevent or whatever people call it. But then there's also just making good decisions there, and so that's one that I feel like I got to do a better job on.
I kind of saw the Texas A&M UCLA game the other night, and A&M had the big lead, and their freshman quarterback snapping the ball with 18 seconds or 15 seconds left on the play clock. That's a situation where you gotta take charge of what's going on with the clock.
I'm a defensive guy, so I won't make that mistake. Yeah. We'll run the football. But we got to do a better job. We'll practice both those scenarios 2 minutes this half or this week before this game, and we got to get better closing games out.
So they get the kickoff to start the second half. Defense gets the job done, and then our first look at your new place kicker, Nick Letang, lines up for a 45-yard field goal. That's a pretty tough kick for your first ever collegiate kick. It's on the road in a Big 12 venue, big crowd. man, he just steps up and boots it from 45 yards.
Yeah, I think that doesn't get said enough. If you said, hey, what was the 3 top newcomers in that football game, it would have been Shabari Davis, it would have been Marquez Terry, and it'd be Nico. You know, it goes by, his real name's Nicholas, and he goes by Nico, you know, which is kind of cool for a place kicker, right? Usually they're like the most
We're going to
boring,
call him Nico the rest of the
exactly.
way. Yeah.
Give him some love. But, you know, to run out there, have to kick a 45-yarder, you know, they got the big end zone thing in there. They're all drinking, all getting it on. So, but
this is after you called a timeout, and then it went to this full media timeout. And I'm thinking, boy, he's almost like he's getting iced.
Yeah,
it didn't bug him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you appreciate him. Like, this man will live to be 190 years old. He doesn't get excited about anything, which is exactly how you want a kicker. It's almost like a golfer. You know, you want really low, even kill guys. And it seems like he's that. Like, you know, he just walked out there and kicked her, and he's got a sweet goatee. I kind of like my man. I was kind of, you know, still trying to figure it out, but if Nico's a stock, I'm buying.
So then it's a 21-10 football game, and then they get a 10-yard touchdown run from Dom Williams. This is a freshman. I mean, he's not even listed 3 deep on the depth chart. He was like their 4th guy, but he got most of the carries there. Their depth chart was totally inaccurate. I don't know if they do that to throw off the opponent or whatever. Their starting running back had like 1 carry. He barely even was in the game, the guy that was listed number 1 on the depth chart. But that's a pretty good-looking freshman. That put them up 28-10. And then they went up 35-10 on a touchdown pass to their tight end, who, ironically enough, he's the only guy on their roster who was there in 2014 for the game against Kansas. Yeah. But a veteran 4-year guy, and it looked like that might have been a coverage situation.
Yeah, I think that's the thing on defense. You know, keys to victory for Dayton. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about later, but you know, we got to eliminate big plays. Both of those, that touchdown on the rush. A defensive lineman went the wrong way, slanted the wrong way, and then we had a blown coverage and a guy was wide open. So, you know, they got 21 points on 7 plays, over 250 yards on 7 plays. So that's where we got to get better. You know, at times you watch the film and it looked good, but we got to get more consistency there, and so that's our challenge on defense this week.
Well, one thing we got to point out, you brought up the name Shabari Davis, but, Coach, he was outstanding. Not only did he have an interception in the football game, but as far as punt returns go, Shabari Davis, 3 punt returns for 79 yards. He had a 30, a 25, and a 24. I mean, just to have 1 punt return over 20 in a game is outstanding, let alone 3 of them.
Yeah. You know, we weren't sure quite what that was going to look like. You know, we don't live tackle him all the time. We knew he's a great athlete. He's got great ball skills. He was an option quarterback in high school in South Georgia. And so, obviously, you know, he's good with the ball in his hands, right? You saw what Georgia Tech did last night, but
500 yards rushing, yeah, right. I saw that.
And so we thought it would look good, but, you know, you never really know. He you know, he's still got to get better a little bit with decision making. And one of those long ones, we were all like, "Oh my!" He did not just do that. And then it was like, "Go."
No. Yes.
Yes, exactly right. So I think he's a guy continue to get better, and then we need the other 10 people to work. Because, you know, he can overtake a game, so we need those other 10 to buy into their roles as far as blocking for him and all those things, so he can really have an impact.
Boy, Shabari, a 2-way guy in high school. You mentioned being a quarterback. 15 touchdowns as a quarterback his senior year, and then he had 5 interceptions as a defensive back as a senior. So he was a 2-way impact guy on both sides of the ball.
And he was a guy that we weren't sure. We were thinking about playing him at receiver too. So he was one that could have gone both ways, and then we settled in at corner. But the thing that's interesting about him is he hadn't played football for 2 years. You know, he was a double red shirt at Garden City. So, you know, for his first game back, you know, that's really good. Now, he gave up some plays in the secondary that we got to get him better at, and I know his technique will, and Coach Smith's doing a good job with him. But, you know, you feel like his difference between his game 1 and game 2 should be pretty good.
Then you get your second touchdown. It comes with 12 minutes left in the game. So, I mean, all of a sudden you put some pressure on Kansas here. Christian Wilkerson, 22-yard catch from Jesse Hoskett, and that made it 38-16. So, you put some pressure on them. Still 12 minutes left in the game. They couldn't score again. But talk about Christian Wilkerson, not only with that touchdown, but he was your leading receiver in the game, 9 catches, 68 yards.
Yeah, had another strong game, picked up where he left off. He was able to break a couple tackles. I still think he can continue to work on that. He had a game that even I think he would tell you he could get better at. He had 1/3 medium he caught that if he'd have turned it up would have been a first down. He tried to go across the field and got tackled. We had to punt it. And then had a bad drop on a 3rd down. So he's like the rest of us. We still feel like that we can get better at, but certainly feels like he's a little better than he was a year ago. Certainly with yards after catch and continued where he left off, being able to make that big play down the field for that touchdown.
And we didn't see you take as many shots down the field in this game, and I got to believe that's directly a result of, man, they got the best pass rusher in the Big 12, and they got some men on that front line.
Yeah, I mean, you drop back there, and you expect that if he can't do that, then you can't ask him to do that, as far as protection. So we just tried to manage the game and do the best that we could.
And another game where Jesse Hoskett does not have a turnover.
Yeah, did a great decision maker. Worked hard, got us in a lot of that run game was checked, and did a really nice job managing the football game.
All right, his numbers: 25 of 44, 170, 2 touchdowns. Was not sacked in the football game. Talk a little bit about that. You get 3 new offensive linemen. Jesse is a very savvy guy who's going to try to avoid sacks when at all possible, but to go on the road against the best pass rusher in the Big 12, Endurance Armstrong Jr., a guy that's probably going to be he's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, and you don't give up a sack.
Yep. I think our offensive line, that's probably the biggest thing I'm excited about. And they opened some holes. I mean, they did a nice job. We averaged almost 4 yards a rush. I think it was 3.8-ish. But if you can do that against them, you got to feel pretty good about it, not giving up a sack. There's obvious things that we could do better in the O-line, but for the most part, we held up nice.
How does Jesse feel? We'll ask him. He just walked in. How does he feel about kind of losing his position on the football team from time to time? We saw a different quarterback in there. You ran some Wildcat or Wild Hawk, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Direct snaps to Marquez Terry. He ripped off a 41-yard run out of the Wildcat.
Yeah, that was a very nice package. We knew we had to be a little creative with how we were going to be able to move the ball against KU because of their D-line, and Coach Weimer's staff did a nice job, and, of course, those players executed, and I think that's going to be a good little package for us.
Now you give Dayton and other future opponents more to be concerned about because they've seen this wrinkle on film.
Exactly right. And so, we got to continue to improve those schemes, and our players hopefully will get better and our execution will continue to go up.
What I thought was encouraging was they had seen the Wildcat a couple of times before he ripped off the 41-yard run. So it wasn't as big a surprise to them anymore. You knew they were scheming for it on the sideline during the game after they saw it, and that's still he went out and Marquez had the 41-yard run.
Yeah, that's the thing. They tried to overplay it, and then he was able to see it and bounce it outside, and that was a nice gear. I don't know if you saw it, but that corner, who's a good player, come over and, didn't even get his flag if it was flag football. Yeah. Like he really put a nice move on him.
Well, that's the guy we want to talk about now is Marquez Terry, his first game. The one thing I noticed, it's always frustrating to try and defend guys like this, but at least in that game, Coach, it seemed like every time when they finally did get to him, he would always fall forward for another yard or two. He's one of those guys that always gets an extra yard, an extra 3 feet, an extra 6 feet. You see that in practice every day?
No doubt. Like if you said describe Marquez Terry, he's a little different, but the number one thing he does well is he gets the most out of a run. Like if you look on film, you say, well, that should gain 4, he gets 5. If it should gain 17, he gets 24. Like he always gets the most out of every play. Even though he's a little guy too, you know, he always finishes with his helmet towards his goal line, not towards the opponent's goal line.
Aren't those frustrating guys that try to defend?
Because now you're in 3rd and 1s instead of 3rd and 4s, and that's you know, way different. And so we talk about finishing all the time, and he does a great job finishing his runs.
And when you got a little guy, you're always worried about, okay, what happens if he takes a big shot? I mean, he popped to his feet after every run, no matter how the run finished, man, he's right up to his feet.
Yeah, I love me some Terry right now. I mean, you know, he could do a good job, but he also did a nice job on some chip pros. You know, those defensive ends, he came in and kind of gave him a rib shot on his way out and some stuff like that. So him and Coach Langford, our running back coach, did a nice job.
All right, talk about what you felt was the impact of the tight ends in the football game. Brody Wheeler had 1 catch for 11 yards, and I know they're a big part of blocking in the run game and trying to keep the defensive line off of Jesse Hoskett. I know you're excited about your tight ends. What did you see?
Yeah, I think the same thing. They impacted the game. They had some really, really nice blocking. I think we missed Logan a couple times out there. I know one of them in the end was a 4th and 12 and kind of a little bit lower of a catch, but he should have made that catch, and so I know he's looking forward to just really taking that next step this game also.
All right, we're going to have Jesse Hoskett on here after the commercial break. Tell us a little bit about the change you've seen in Jesse from last season going into his senior year.
Well, I think he's more comfortable. I think you can tell by just he has lots more to say. You know, he never says much, but certainly his command level, when he talks to the offense, it's like a coach talking, like they listen to him. He's not just suggesting, he's demanding from his teammates, and really taking his leadership level or his leadership up a level.
And now he's a married man.
Yes, he's a married man and got a puppy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
like,
married
should,
and a small bundle of joy.
Yeah, puppy, you should get a new remote to watch film. Like, no. But
puppy.
He's probably the only guy who watches as much film as his coaches. Like he's the epitome of how you prepare.
All right, we'll talk to Mr. Preparedness. Jesse Hoskett is going to join us when we come back, and then we'll wrap it up with Coach Tuke. Final segment, we'll talk about the Dayton Flyers, who, by the way, make a note, that's a noon kickoff in Dayton, Ohio on Saturday, noon Central Time. It'll be 1 o'clock there in the Eastern Time Zone. They're in Dayton, Ohio, but what you need to know, noon Cape Girardeau time. Jesse Hoskett, the Redhawks quarterback, will join us when we come back. We're at Wings, Etc. in Cape Girardeau, Redhawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN.
Everyone knows size does matter, and no one knows it better than Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Wings Etc. has the biggest, meatiest, award-winning jumbo wings in town. If you love wings and a whole menu of great food and drink options and tons of flat screens tuned into sports, we've got you covered. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
Golf Etc. Golf Show is back. Every Wednesday morning at 9 in August and September, Golf Etc. and Eric Sean will be talking golf. Hear about the latest equipment, technology, and tips to help improve your game. Golf Etc. on Kingsway will host the show at their shop, so feel free to stop by and ask the guys a question. Take your game to the next level with the Golf Etc. Golf Show. Wednesday mornings at 9 through August and September on SEMO ESPN, SEMOESPN.com, and the SEMO ESPN app.
It's tough running a business. Trying to decipher where and when to advertise can really be exhausting, which is why you should know about a website that lets you research what's best on your own time. It has information on local radio stations, the formats, how many and who's listening, and how to get results. And all this info can make advertising decisions a lot easier to make. Grab a pen and write this website down.
Visit SEMOadvertising.com to learn more. That's SEMOadvertising.com.
And now, Your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms tapering to an end here early this morning. Then clouds will clear as we head towards this afternoon, giving way to plenty of sunshine. Much cooler today. Temperatures reaching a high in the upper 70s. Clear skies overnight, low near 50. Lots of sunshine and unseasonably cool Wednesday and Thursday. Highs both afternoons, middle part of the 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast. Breaking on the ESPN Radio Network.
Well, dude, obviously you'd be better as the focal point of the show. Would I be better for society? No.
The Ryan Russillo Show. Weekdays at noon on SEMO ESPN and SEMOESPN.com.
It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show, live from Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. And we are going to talk it over with the Red Hawks quarterback. Senior Jesse Hoskett will join us momentarily. We want to remind you that you need to stop by Wings, especially during the lunch hour where we are right now. They've got their daily half-pound lunch specials, which start at just $6.49. So try to find a big lunch spread for just $6.49. Well, you can do it right here at Wings Etc. They've got their dining rooms filled with their flat-screen high-def televisions, tuned to the best sports programming. You can watch all the college football. You want to watch some late-night Cardinal baseball tonight. Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. Michael Wacha will be pitching 9:10 first pitch. You want to watch some Redbird baseball, you can do it in high def right here at Wings Etc., where they've got food and drink specials throughout the week, including 59-cent wings every Monday. They've got their kids menu, and they are open 7 days a week and late on the weekends because the games will run late, and Wings will be right here until that final pitch is thrown or that final snap is taken. Wings, etc. And this programming note will be in Jackson next week. Yeah, hockey too. We'll play Joe Hobbs. They will not have any New England Patriots games on any television, though, come NFL season. You won't be able to see Tom Brady. Kidding. Joe Hobbs is a huge Patriots fan, which really ires a lot of the customers. I got to be honest with you. A lot of the customers, some negative feedback there with the world champion New England Patriots. You can see them every game here at Wings. Let's talk football with Red Hawks quarterback Jesse Hoskett. How are you, Jesse?
I'm doing good.
All right, Coach Took was talking about the new puppy. What do we know about what can you tell us about the new puppy?
I mean, it's just a little cocker spaniel, a little pretty dog. So his name's Copper. He always running around the house like chewing stuff up, that's for sure.
So you got to keep an eye on him as far as the chewing thing, right?
Yeah, he likes to tear everything up right now.
All right. When growing up down in French camp, was it one of those situations where you had outside dogs and not inside dogs?
Oh, yeah, we had a bunch of dogs outside. There's always dogs running around the Hoskett house.
So is this inside dog thing a new thing to a guy who grew up with a lot of dogs?
I'll say a little bit, but, I mean, we always been used to having dogs around the house, so it's been fun, though. He's crazy.
All right. Now, Carlin is the name of your wife, right?
Yes, sir.
Who picked out the dog?
She did.
Okay. That's kind of what I was angling at. But who has to take the dog out at midnight?
Oh, he's doing pretty good. We don't take him out at midnight.
All right. So that's
I take him out in the morning when I wake up.
So you had to go through that stage when you were engaged. You kept having to hear, okay, when are you guys getting married? When are you guys getting married? So you got that question. Now you get married, and then has the other question started? When are you going to have a grandchild? Mom and Dad want to know when they're going to get a grandbaby, right?
Oh, actually, my brother and his wife just had the first grandbaby last night.
Pressure's off then.
Yep.
That's tremendous. What can you tell us? Boy, girl?
Oh, boy. Yeah, his name is Sawyer Ralph Hoskett. So his first grandson.
That is fantastic. Uncle Jesse.
Yep.
That's fabulous. What were your thoughts about going to the University of Kansas? Very big venue. It's an older stadium. I think 97 years old. They've got field turf there, exactly like what you've got at Hawk Stadium. What were your thoughts going into the game, kind of knowing that you're going to be facing one of the best pass rushers in the country, and not just one, but they have two premier pass rushers on that defense?
I mean, just overall, just having the right kind of strategy. To get the ball out quick and, having some different protections, try to get some good protections and making sure we're getting the ball out ball out, not holding on to it too long. That was just the main thing.
You're pretty proud of the fact that you end the football game and there's a 0 in the sack column. You were not sacked during the football game?
I mean, yeah, I think that's just being able to get the ball out when you're in trouble. I mean, obviously, I think I got a penalty there at the beginning of the game for throwing one away, not outside the pocket. But, just not holding on to the ball, trying to make good decisions with that football.
Let me ask you that. That seems like in the heat of the moment, you got guys bearing down on you. It seems like that sometimes can be a tough call for a quarterback about whether he believes he's outside the tackle box or he's not outside. With everything going really quickly, can sometimes it kind of be a borderline type thing in your mind?
Oh, no doubt. You're not sure where you are on the field. And I think that play I was actually trying to get to one of my receivers, but I was hit during the throw, so I didn't get to quite the distance I needed on it. So I didn't get quite close enough to him. We ended up getting that penalty. So.
Well, then all of a sudden you look up, you're down 14-0, so you're playing catch-up. And you guys put a nice drive together when you needed to go down and stick the ball in the end zone. And Trayvon Billington, the guy that catches the first touchdown of the season, here's a guy that we didn't call his name last year except on special teams, and all of a sudden he soared to #1 on the depth chart. It looked like you guys kind of got more comfortable with each other as the game went on Saturday. Tell us about Trayvon Billington and how you guys are comfortable working with each other.
I mean, he's just put a lot of work in the offseason, through the winter, spring, and the summertime. We've thrown a lot of ball together. And we've just been able to build that chemistry, and I got a good confidence with him right now.
How big is that off-season developing chemistry with a guy like Trayvon Billington, or any guy, but just in this case, Trayvon?
I mean, he was just a hard worker, and I think we were both hard workers, and I think that's why we were going to be able to connect on some balls this year. I think it's just great to have a time, especially in the summer, where you're just out there and getting that chemistry together.
For those who have not seen Trayvon play, and unless they were at the KU game, they didn't get to see him play. Describe what type of a receiver he is.
I mean, he got great hands. I think the greatest contribute to his game would be his mindset. Like he's a very smart guy. It doesn't matter where you put him. You can move him around to any position, and he'll know what to do, and he'll know where to be during that circumstance, and that's what makes him good.
And then Christian Wilkerson obviously had a great season a year ago, and really you developed a deep ball repertoire with Christian Wilkerson, led the OVC in receiving or in yards per reception, 21 yards per catch. That's a school record. No one has ever caught balls at 21 yards per click last year. So a guy that you can feel pretty confident in if you got to air it down the field that he's going to come up with it, right?
Yes, sir. Just some big plays, just coming off of really just trying to make something happen downfield. Maybe a broken play or just him just trying to get open.
And Coach Tuke was bringing up the fact that he is a big, strong guy and bigger and stronger this year, and they're hoping to see some more yards after contact with him. We saw a little bit of that on Saturday at Kansas.
Yeah, I think he did a good job of breaking a couple tackles here and there, but I still think just with his athletic ability, he can still create some pretty explosive plays, even more than what we saw Saturday.
All right, how about Marquez Terry? It looked like he wants to take your job, man. He lined up a quarterback a bunch.
Yeah, just a new little wildcat we thrown in there. Just trying to get numbers in the box, get me outside, pull somebody else out of the box so we can get a great running advantage. He's a good athlete, so he's able to do that stuff.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what it's been like to work with him because he looks like he's going to be an exciting and fun guy to watch for Red Hawk fans.
Oh, he's definitely an exciting guy to watch. He makes people miss all the time, and then I've obviously got the best view. I'm standing right behind him when I hand the ball off, and some of the runs I saw him do this camp, I was just like, man, we just need to hand the ball off every play if he's going to run like that.
Boy,
he's got some great moves.
He really does, and lining up at Wildcat, we haven't talked to him. I don't know. Do you know? Is that something new? Did he do any of that at Highland?
I'm not sure if he's done much of that, but he's picked it up pretty well here.
I'm interested to see if they got a pass option out of that thing. They're gonna let him loft one up one of these times. Well, Coach Tuke, I'm sure, won't tip his hand on something like that. But as far as seeing him with his size, Do you see sometimes the potential, being a smaller running back, sometimes he can get hidden behind those big uglies up front, those big offensive linemen?
Oh, no doubt. He's a smaller guy. He's hard to see. He can slip through some tight holes, and he's a hard guy to tackle.
Well, he's a fun guy to watch. And then you've got Cam Sanders, who is the guy that has the extra gear in terms of speed. So, boy, you've got you totally different types of running backs, right?
Yes, sir. They're both very good complements to our offense because they got two different sides to the ball game.
How about Marquez coming out of the backfield? How do you rate him as a pass catcher? Is he a guy that can help out in the passing game? And I know some of those short passes really are an extension of the running game if you get him involved with kind of little swing passes out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's done a good job with that so far this season. Obviously, we only played one game, but he did a good job Saturday of catching some balls out of the backfield, and that definitely is a nice thing to have on offense, having a running back who can catch some balls.
All right, Coach kind of intimates that you're kind of a film rat. You like to watch a lot of video. That's something that you can do from your laptop anywhere you're at, right?
Yeah, we got Huddle, so we can watch that wherever we're at, but I like getting into the office, so the film works faster first off. I mean, it's just a better picture. I like getting on a big screen and seeing everything like it'll be on game day.
Is it also something in your mind as a leader on this football team, people see you, they visibly see you in their working, they see you in their studying? Are you kind of sending a message as a leader to, hey, I'm going to work just as hard as anybody on this football team, trying to set an example? Does that enter into it sometimes?
Yeah, I think you try to set an example as a leader, as a senior, but I don't think that's the reason you do it. I think you do it because you're a competitor and you want to be good. I think that's why you go in and put that extra time in.
All right. What was your evaluation of your performance against the Kansas Jayhawks? The numbers look good, and the most important thing, I know you talked to Coach Tuke, no turnovers. It looked like it was almost a turnover. They ruled it an interception. How nervous was it for you as they were kind of looking at the film, and could you tell that the guy did not come up with it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely forced one in there a little bit on that play. I mean, I wasn't too nervous about it because, I mean, it's a football game. Mistakes are going to happen. You just need to have the right response and bounce back after those mistakes. So I wouldn't say I was nervous about it, but, yeah, we're definitely grateful not to have that turnover.
All right. Is that one of the things, though, that you walk out of a football game? Obviously, you want to win the football game, but knowing that you got out of there turnover-free, that has to feel good.
I mean, it's nice to say, but if you want to feel good, you got to win ball games, I believe. So, our goal is start winning, and then we'll start feeling good.
All right. You've got Dayton coming up this Saturday at 12 noon kickoff. Are you a proponent? Do you like to play the 6 o'clock games where you got to wait all day, or would you rather play a noon game where you're up, you're on the bus, you're at the field, and you're going?
Yeah, I like both of them. I think the great thing about the noon game is you get, like you say, you don't have to wait around all day. You get to get it going, but great thing about a night game is, I feel like more of a game atmosphere. You get to turn the lights on, and I just love playing under the lights at nighttime. It's fun.
Jesse Hoskett, Red Hawks quarterback, is our guest, and one of the positives of playing at Dayton on Saturday, noon game, we're not going to get back at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, definitely get back a little earlier, get back on that bus, and get back to Cape Girardeau.
We might get back before midnight, so you may have to take the Cocker Spaniel out when you get home.
Might have to.
What did we say? Copper is the name?
Copper, yeah.
Copper, all right. All right, so what do you see from Dayton? It doesn't look like they've got a big defensive line in terms of stature. I mean, you guys, are almost 300 pounds across your front line. They're going to run a 4-3 or a 4-2. I mean, kind of they run a rover, a nickelback type guy, but you're going to see a 4-man front, right?
Yes, sir, 4-man front. They're a very disciplined ball team. I think they're very smart, and they obviously know how to win because they've won a good many games the last couple of years. I just think they know how to win. They're disciplined, so we need to come in there with our mind right and make sure we get this thing done. All
right. It's going to be a noontime kickoff on Saturday. The Dayton Flyers, and this, by the way, is a 2-year contract. Dayton will be returning the game to Houck Stadium next year. All right, so it's one game down. You got your money game, $415,000 to go play that game. Now, all of your opponents are going to be at the FCS level here. What are your thoughts as you kind of play your final 2 tune-up games before you get into OVC play?
I mean, just take it one game at a time, We need to go in and have build some confidence in this game and play a great ball game. I think from game 1 to 2, we just, as the coach has been talking about, we have a lot of room for growth. We got a lot of new guys coming in on the field from in that first game. I think we got a lot of ability to grow as a team.
And as far as the offense goes, this is an offense that has an opportunity really to gel on that offensive line. You had to feel good about what you saw out of your offensive line on Saturday, I would think. Opening up running lanes, protecting you, no sacks, not a bunch of penalties on the offensive line with, ushering in 3 brand new guys right in the middle of that offensive line. That was a positive, I thought.
Yeah, I think they did a good job, and definitely procedurally they did a good job. I don't think we got any penalties up front. I can't remember, we may have, but I just really want to see out of them just the aggressive side to them. I think we could have a great running game with those guys up there and a great passing game.
All right, it's going to be a 12 noon kickoff with the Dayton Flyers coming up on Saturday. Say hi to Copper for us. Everybody's excited to hear about your dog, and say hi to your wife, Carlin. Thanks so much. We'll see you Saturday in Ohio.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's Jesse Hoskett, the Red Hawks quarterback. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will talk it over with Coach Tuke, talk a little bit about the opponent. Coming up Saturday, the Dayton Flyers. They play in the Pioneer League. More with Coach Tuke from Wings, etc. Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN.
Tough running a business. Trying to decipher where and when to advertise can really be exhausting, which is why you should know about a website that lets you research what's best on your own time. It has information on local radio stations, the formats, how many and who's listening, and how to get results. And all this info can make advertising decisions a lot easier to make. Grab a pen and write this website down.
Visit SEMOadvertising.com to learn more. That's SEMOadvertising.com.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms tapering to an end here early this morning. Then clouds will clear as we head towards this afternoon. Even when plenty of sunshine. Much cooler today. Temperatures reaching a high in the upper 70s. Clear skies overnight, low near 50. Lots of sunshine and unseasonably cool Wednesday and Thursday. Highs both afternoons, middle part of the 70s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network. This is your local home for Mike and Mike, the Sports Huddle, and all your favorite teams. Get it all right here.
Makes my day go great.
On the SEMO ESPN Sports Network.
12:54, 6 minutes before 1 o'clock. Final segment here, the Red Hawks Coaches Show at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau. Next Tuesday, we'll be at Wings over in Jackson. So please make plans to join us. You're probably going to go somewhere for lunch. You're going to be eating lunch somewhere. Why not stop over at Wings in Jackson, join us, talk a little Red Hawk football, and hopefully we're talking about a big win over the Dayton Flyers. That game Saturday at 12 noon in Dayton, Ohio. Coach Tom Matukowicz joins us again, and good to hear from Jesse Hoskett, man. That's a guy you can tell he's all business.
Yeah, and he's just really mature. When I grow up, I want to be just like Jesse. That's my goal in life. But I'm going to be a little selfish here. I'm going to give a shout out to my bride. Is that all right?
Yes, absolutely.
Lena, has, when we were married, I thought she was going to be the next president of the United States. She has her master's and all these things, and once we had our first baby, she decided to stay at home. And, obviously with my profession, it's hard to have two people in the family work. And so she gave up her profession for both Georgia and Shelby, and now Shelby's starting her kindergarten. And so today's her first day back at work, kind of part-time. But I know she's really excited about that. I'm really happy for her, and I just can't say enough about how much I appreciate her sacrifice for our family and my profession. So big shout out, Lena, and I love you, babe.
All right, nice ovation here at the Coaches Show. I'm raising the roof. for her.
Yeah.
So one of those first day on the job, she can't very well kind of tune in at work and listen to the show at the same time. They probably frown on that, right?
Well, she does, because anytime a microphone gets in front of my face, she has a lot of concern. And so I'll get text message about, hey, tone it down, big boy, and stuff like that. So
it's kind of like her version if you were in the same room kicking you under the table.
Yes,
right?
yes. So because she hears me at home, she knows that this is getting recorded, and that's never a good thing.
All right, let's talk about the Dayton Flyers. This is a football team that, boy, they've really had a lot of success under their head coach, Rick Chamberlain, 60 years old in his 10th season. He was actually a 29-year assistant at Dayton before he got the job. He was an All-American linebacker back in the D3 days for the Dayton Flyers. So he was inducted into the Dayton Hall of Fame back in '89. And here's a guy with 74 wins and 28 losses. They're the class of the Pioneer League.
Yeah, for sure. He's never had a losing season. I mean, you say a lot. I mean, when you say that, that says a lot. And they're kind of the staple. And the thing that makes me nervous is this team knows how to win. They've won before. They have that confidence, and that's still something that we're trying to build here. But people talk – we have to make sure we handle this process, and we respect each opponent. A lot of people will say, well, they're non-scholarship. We should show up and win because we're scholarship. Well, I'm from Ohio. I've seen the players they get. They're somehow they're getting them on some scholarships, so they're not completely. And they have really good players. They're tight end and quarterback. I know he's injured, but they could start anywhere in the OVC. Like, they have some good players. They know how to win, and it's a program. Like, when you come this weekend, I know you haven't seen them play, but it'll be packed. They'll have a great energy, great band. They'll be, it'll look and feel just like college football, and it's going to be a huge, huge road test for us.
They're an FCS school, and a couple of years ago they were in the playoffs. I mean, only one OVC school was in the playoffs. Dayton was in the playoffs. They lost to Western Illinois, but teams like Eastern Kentucky, Eastern Illinois, they weren't in the playoffs, but Dayton was.
Yeah, so they have our attention. I think we have a fairly mature team. I think they're going to respect every opponent, and they're going to do the work it takes and try and show up and improve.
Kyle Caparos is their quarterback now. He only attempted 2 passes last year, saw minimal time. Their starting quarterback has a broken foot. He missed their 13-10 loss to Robert Morris. They'd beaten Robert Morris 14 consecutive times. Robert Morris kicks a field goal with 4 seconds left to beat them 13-10. So they lose to an opponent they're not used to losing to. Backup quarterback. The team that's going to be breathing fire on Saturday.
Yeah, they're going to be ready, and they missed 2 field goals, so that's 6 points. So I know they're going to be a little salty, but so are we. And so we're going to get it on. Like, I hope it's their best, and I hope it's our best, and it's a great game, and the Red Hawks, come out with a win.
One thing I noticed, this is a small sample size, only one game. They only ran 54 plays in the football game, Coach, but they rushed the football last year 54% of the time, which means they threw it 46% of the time with their star quarterback. On Saturday, they only threw it 34% of the time and rushed it 66% of the time. Might that have something to do with them having a backup quarterback?
Yeah, but, I mean, it's just completely different. What we saw in KU will be nothing like what we see now. They're a huddle team, like they break a huddle, traditional offense.
That's why there's only 54 plays.
Yeah, so the clock goes down to 10 to 5 seconds every single play. So they're not about running a lot of plays. They're more about just executing the plays that they run. But they are a run-heavy offense, and which is why they're good on defense. So we got to stop the run on defense for sure, and if we do, I feel good about getting them in third down.
You look at their offensive line coach; they have no 300-pounders, and their biggest offensive lineman 287, and he's a redshirt freshman. That's their left tackle. So a smallish offensive line, and they're a little undersized on the defensive line. That's kind of what I noticed.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We got that roster and that recruiting model that we have with big people's got to show up. It may not show up in the first quarter because you're fresh. That extra weight doesn't necessarily show itself then. But as the game wears on, that's our plan. We should take over with our size and be able to those gains that are getting 3 or 4 yards. Well, now all of a sudden get 10 to 12 to 15 because they just get wore down.
So what's the game plan going to be going in there on Saturday, facing a totally different offensive scheme?
Well, offensively, it's do less, better. We carried a lot of game plan into this game because we were trying to help our players because they're that good, and scheme definitely helps, but we also had an execution issue. Defensively is cut our MAs in half. Missed assignments. We just had too many missed assignments, had 26 missed assignments. We got to get that down into the teens if we want to have success. In the kicking game, we got to dominate. Like, we need to create some dominant plays. Kicking game are space plays. Lots of space, and so speed and athleticism. Like, we have to make those plays. Like Shabari Davis, we got to get Cam Sanders. And it's not those two, it's the other 10. Like, we got to get those other 10 to dominate their one-on-one so we can get these dynamic players in space, and they should be able to, have a huge impact on the game special team.
And speaking of special teams, they have an All-American return guy. He not only returns kicks, he returns punts. Christian Searles. This guy is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, he really is. He breaks a lot of tackles. He's just a really good football player. He's played a lot of football for them, and he's got our attention for sure.
All right, and Cam Sanders, a guy who it'll be fun to see him maybe get a few more opportunities. Didn't get many opportunities at KU. They had a strong I think they had a 4-star kicker with a recruit. Now, he didn't come in to kick the field goals. They're going to ease him into that, but man, he was kicking them out of the end zone all night.
Yeah, we only had one real opportunity to return the ball, but I challenged our kickoff return. I really did. I thought we got to do better. That we return a lot of starters on that unit, and we have better players and better scheme than what we outputted, and so I really challenged the coaches, and I coach a position on it, and our players and coaches really got to execute because we got to get that going.
Again, people who did not hear, your leading tackler from last game, Chad Meredith. We're going to be stopping in Louisville, his hometown, his home high school, to work out on the bus trip to Dayton, Ohio. How'd that all get set up, by the way?
Well, we're just looking at where we'd practice, and certainly we could go practice at a big stadium, and I'm certainly into the student-athlete experience and getting them to see stuff, but I just thought it'd be cool since that's a guy that's given the program so much that his team comes back and practices at his high school and stuff. And Coach Napoli and Coach Ools kind of set up the plan going back, and looking forward to it.
All right, and Zach Smith and Zach Hall back in their hometowns as well.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people from the state of Kentucky there for sure.
That'll be fantastic. All right, Coach, we'll see you Friday as we travel to Dayton, and best of luck Saturday against the Flyers.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Tom Atukowicz, that will do it for the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Don't forget, we're in Jackson next Tuesday, 12 noon kickoff on Saturday in Dayton, Ohio against the Dayton Flyers. That is noon Central Time. That's when we'll talk to you next. We'll get you back into ESPN Radio straight ahead. So long, everybody, from Wings and Cape.
Southeast Missouri's ESPN Radio.